Everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV Alternative Media Television. We're finally starting to dry up a little bit here in Arizona. It was kind of like a river runs through it. Don't know if you guys saw the images yesterday. It was national news. We got all kinds of flooding. In fact, I even had pretty much a lake in my own backyard. I wish I had one of those motorized boats. I would have played with one. It would have been kind of fun. Reminded me of being a kid or something like that. I did a video earlier today titled Ray Rice. And obviously that he's being targeted because he's a black NFL player. And the NFL commissioner, a white man, Mr. Goodell, and also the coach of Ray Rice, white. So obviously the mainstream media can concoct their story and pitch the narrative of, again, the white man attacking and treating the black man unfairly, as is the continuous narrative, whether or not it's Trayvon Martin beating the shit out of George Zimmerman before he was shot, or it is Michael Brown beating the shit out of a cop and fracturing his eyeball before he was shot dead, or before he robbed a liquor store and antagonized, using brute physical force, one of the store clerks. Again, this narrative that the black man is constantly being targeted and treated unfairly. It's why people like Jamie Foxx, Hollywood superstars, wore a Trayvon Martin t-shirt to one of his events during that breaking and very controversial race-baiting story, where the reverends of the world, the race baiters, I like to call them the haters, people like Reverend Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, really just kind of play into the race-baiting hand. It's kind of how they profit. It's how they are able to continue their message of fear, this divide and conquer strategy that has clearly been implemented by the Obama administration from day one and used to the administration's advantage. Again, you control the masses by dividing them emotionally, psychologically, placating them with very violent sports like the NFL and pro-American football. And the reason I do these videos isn't to race bait. It's to get you to think about how ironic, honestly, our society is, and what a double standard it truly is. For example, imagine if for a minute Ray Rice had knocked unconscious not a woman, but a man. Now, if that were to happen, most of America would have just written it off as boys being boys. I mean, hey, violent on the field, violent off the field, so he, knocked a man unconscious. Who really gives a shit? Or what if Ray Rice had beat up a gay guy? And knocked a gay guy unconscious? Well, that would have been viewed as a hate crime, of course, and the LGBT community would have been out in full force. Or what if his fiancée at the time wasn't black, but instead was white? Some would argue that, well, Ray Rice would have gone straight to jail. They probably bring even more aggressive charges against him. So I don't do these videos not to point out that racism doesn't necessarily exist. Of course it exists in our society. In fact, most people inherently, I would think, probably... and most people probably agree with me, are inherently racist to a certain degree. I mean, take a look how we self-segregate ourselves in society. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're racist just because we self-segregate, but we do have a natural tendency to self-segregate in America. And again, these constant double standards, where one minute the mainstream media points out that Michael Brown's unfairly treated and that him beating up a store clerk, robbing a liquor store, and beating the shit out of a cop is erroneous. It's just that a white cop happened to shoot him, and so that's a race issue. And then on the other flip side of it, feeding into stories, whether or not it's Donald Sterling being taken maybe out of context or maybe even in context, but his private information being leaked by some profiteering whore that he happened to be dating at the time. Again, nothing is private now. We just had another NBA coach being forced to self-censor himself and step down because of these same issues, because of this bullshit mainstream media, politically correct society. We now have this self-censorship where you can never make a mistake. You can't hide anything, and it's just almost this vicious self-feedback fear loop that we're constantly engaged in. I personally love, for example, to watch the ESPN commentators try to tread the water carefully on this issue, and really commentators across the mainstream media in general, fearing of immediate reprisals if, God forbid, they say something incorrectly or make a mistake or say something that the public doesn't interpret the right way. They know that their careers are over because of this politically incorrect, bullshit, obscene, society that we live in today. And again, it's a double standard, and it clearly points out how ridiculous it is to be PC in a world that is very far from it. I'm Christopher Green. Get it out everywhere. Make it viral. Hard hitting it in your face. And click the link below to support our sponsor.